Audio 9.2, Preparation of School Timetable Principles, Types and Constraints. Situation 31, Residential School Management. In a Navodaya Vidyalaya, the evening prep study time is scheduled from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It is observed that while junior students 6 to 8 benefit from this supervised study, senior students 11 to 12 feel it is restrictive and does not allow for deep, uninterrupted study of subjects that require more time, like physics or chemistry. Some senior students are found wasting time as they complete their work early. As the housemaster, you are asked to suggest improvements to the evening timetable. Number A. Propose a competency-based adjustment to the prep study timetable for senior students. Number B. How would this adjustment cater to the different learning needs of senior students? The evening schedule in a residential school must be flexible to cater to diverse needs. Number A. I would propose a competency-based adjustment by introducing a flexible study schedule for senior students 11 to 12 instead of single monolithic 2-hour block. The time could be divided. The first 90 minutes would be mandatory supervised quiet study for all. The remaining 30 minutes could be a flexi slot. During this time, students who have completed their work can engage in approved academic pursuits like group discussions for a project, using the computer lab for research, or seeking out a subject teacher for doubt clearing, which would be pre-scheduled on specific days. Number B. This adjustment caters to the different learning needs of senior students by acknowledging their growing autonomy and diverse academic demands. It provides the structured environment needed for regular homework completion while offering the flexibility required for deep diving into complex subjects or collaborative project work. It replaces the passive one-size-fits-all supervision with an active trust-based model. This approach respects their maturity, encourages time management skills, and makes the study period more productive by allowing students to use the time according to their specific immediate academic needs, fostering self-directed learning. Situation 32. The drafting of a timetable is a meticulous process. Number A. Describe the initial data collection phase that an academic coordinator must undertake before beginning to draft a timetable. Number B. Explain the constraint first mechanism used in the actual drafting process. The process of drafting a timetable begins with thorough preparation. Number A. Before drafting, the academic coordinator must undertake a comprehensive data collection phase. This involves gathering, number one, the final list of teachers and their subject specializations allotments. Number two, the number of sections for each class and their student strength. Number three, the curriculum mandated number of periods per week for each subject for every class. Number four, a list of available physical resources including standard classrooms, science labs, computer labs, library and playgrounds. Number 5. Information on any part-time teachers or external coaches with fixed availability and any other specific school constraints. Number B. The constraint first mechanism is a logical approach to drafting where the most inflexible elements are placed on the timetable grid first. These are the non-negotiable. For example, if a part-time music teacher is only available on Monday mornings, their class are blocked in first. Similarly, since a single lab cannot be used by two classes at once, practical periods are scheduled carefully to avoid clashes. By locking in these constraints at the beginning, the drafter creates a framework within which the more flexible elements like theory classes in regular classrooms can be arranged, significantly reducing the complexity of the task. Situation 33. A principal is reviewing a proposal to invest in expensive timetable automation software. The software vendor claims it will lead to a paperless administration. Based on your understanding of digital tools in school management, what can be reasonably inferred about the potential impact of this software beyond just scheduling? While the primary function of timetable software is scheduling, its impact extends significantly, supporting the move towards a paperless administration. It can be reasonably inferred that the software will create a centralized digital database of teacher workloads, room utilization, and substitution duties. This data, which is traditionally scattered across multiple registers, becomes easily accessible and analyzable. The software can automatically generate individual teacher and class timetables, which can be shared digitally via email or a school portal, eliminating the need for printing and physical distribution, thus saving paper and administrative effort. Furthermore, one can infer that it will improve administrative efficiency and transparency. Management of daily substitutions can be digitized with the software suggesting available teachers and automatically notifying them. The generation of analytical reports on teacher workload or room occupancy rates becomes an instant click of a button process, aiding in audits and resource planning. This integration of scheduling, communication, and reporting into a single digital platform is the true essence of its contribution to a paperless and more efficient administrative ecosystem, going far beyond the initial task of creating a timetable. Situation 34. Special purpose timetables are essential for managing shared school resources. Number 8. Classifying three distinct types of special purpose timetables commonly used in schools. Number B. For each type, state the specific resource it aims to manage. Number C. Why is a separate timetable for these resources more effective than simply marking them in the master timetable? Special purpose timetables are crucial for orderly school functioning. Number A. Three distinct types of special purpose timetables are: number 1, laboratory practical timetable for subjects requiring hands-on work. Number 2, games physical education timetable for outdoor or sports activities. Number 3, library reading timetable for promoting reading and research habits. Number B, the resources managed by each are: number 1, library time table manages access to shared specialized facilities like physics, chemistry, biology, and computer science labs. Number 2, games timetable manages the use of the school playground, courts, exempligratia, basketball, badminton, or swimming pool. Number 3, library timetable manages access to the school library, ensuring a quiet environment for reading and research for different classes. Number C, a separate timetable is more effective because it provides clarity and detailed control over a high demand, limited resource. While the master timetable shows that a class is in the lab, a dedicated lab timetable can specify which experiment is being done or if a batch is split. It allows the lab assistant or librarian to plan their work. It is also easier to display this specific schedule at the resource location, exemplary criteria on the lab door, making it easily accessible to all users and preventing confusion and conflicts more efficiently than a large, complex master timetable. Situation 35. Impact of infrastructure constraints. A KVS located in a dense urban area has very limited open space with only one small playground. The physical education teacher PET has designed a timetable where multiple classes are often scheduled for games in the same period. This results in overcrowding, increased risk of injury, and ineffective sports training as most students are left standing without space to play. The PET defends this by stating it is the only way to give every class their games period. As the principal analyzed the cause-effect relationship in this scenario and proposed a solution to respect both the infrastructure constraints and the students' right to meaningful physical activity. The cause-effect relationship is clear. The constraint of a single playground cause combined with a poorly designed P timetable has led to overcrowding and meaningless games period. Effect: the PET's approach of scheduling multiple classes simultaneously is a flawed attempt to meet a quantitative target, giving each class a period while completely sacrificing the qualitative outcome meaningful physical activity. This ineffective scheduling negates the very purpose of the games period, turning it into a chaotic and potentially unsafe exercise in crowd management rather than a session for physical education and skill development. My solution would be to optimize the use of the limited space by, by diversifying the activities and staggering the schedule. I would instruct the PET to create a rotational PE timetable. Instead of all classes playing football, one class could use the playground for a major game, a second could use the periphery for athletics practice running, a third could engage in yoga or aerobics in the multi-purpose hall or a large classroom, and a fourth could have an indoor games period. By varying the type and location of the activity, the same time slot can be used effectively by multiple classes without overcrowding the single playground. Situation 36. A floating teacher is a common feature in schools with space constraints. Number A. What is floating teacher? Number B. Analyze the primary administrative challenge this situation poses for timetable management. The concept of a floating teacher is an administrative reality in many schools. Number A. A floating teacher is a teacher who has not been assigned a dedicated home classroom for the academic year. This situation typically arises in schools where the number of class sections exceeds the number of available classrooms. As a result, this teacher moves from one vacant classroom to another throughout the day to take their classes, carrying their teaching materials with them. The classrooms they use are the ones left empty by other classes that have gone to specialized rooms like labs, the library, or the playground. Number B. The primary administrative challenge for timetable management is the complex dependency it creates. The floating teacher schedule cannot be created in isolation. it is entirely dependent on the schedules of other classes and their use of specialized facilities. The timetable creator must first finalize the lab, library, and PE schedules to identify which classrooms will be vacant and when. Only then can the floating teachers' periods be allocated to those empty slots. This creates a rigid, interconnected puzzle where a single change can have a cascading effect, making the timetable extremely difficult to adjust. Situation 37. Explain the role of the morning assembly as a timetable component for promoting theme based learning and showcasing student talent. The morning assembly, when structured thoughtfully within the timetable, transcends its routine function to become a dynamic platform for learning and expression. For promoting theme-based learning, the school can designate a theme of the month, such as such that such as environmental conservation or cultural heritage. The daily assembly components, news, speeches, thoughts, and short presentations can be aligned with this theme. This approach ensures consistent school-wide reinforcement of a specific value or topic, making learning pervasive and contextual. The assembly becomes a daily touch point that unifies the school's focus and transforms abstract themes into tangible collective experiences for all students. Moreover, the assembly is an unparalleled stage for showcasing student talent, fostering confidence and public speaking skills. By creating a rotational schedule in the timetable where different classes or houses are responsible for conducting the assembly each week, students are given the opportunity and responsibility to prepare and present. This can include delivering speeches, reciting poetry, performing music, or presenting short skits. This regular structured opportunity for performance in front of a large audience is invaluable for holistic student development, building character and communication skills that are not easily nurtured within the confines of a classroom. Situation 38. A well prepared examination timetable is crucial for reducing student stress. Number A. What are two key principles to follow when designing an examination timetable? Number B. How should revision time be strategically built into the regular school schedule before exams? A student-centric examination schedule is vital for academic success. Number A. The first key principle is to provide adequate gaps between papers, scheduling to scheduling two major subjects on consecutive days should be avoided. A gap of at least one day allows students sufficient time for revision and reduces anxiety. The second principle is to alternate between difficult and easy or lengthy and short papers. For example, scheduling a mathematics paper followed by a physical education paper rather than another heavy subject like physics helps in managing student stress levels and prevents burnout during the examination period. Number B. Revision time should be built into the regular schedule proactively, not as an afterthought. In the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the examinations, the timetable can be formally modified. The number of periods for each major subject can be increased, and periods for non-exam subjects can be converted into supervised revision periods. Teachers should not introduce new topics during this time. Instead, they should focus on clarifying doubts, solving past papers, and conducting practice tests. This structured approach ensures systematic revision and prevents last minute haphazard cramming. Situation 39. Psychological impact of scheduling. A timetable committee at a KBS has scheduled mathematics and physics back to back as the fourth and fifth periods right after the lunch break. For a class 10 section, after a few weeks, both subject teachers report that students appear lethargic or unable to concentrate, and their performance in class tests for these subjects has been poor. From a pedagogical and psychological perspective, diagnose the flow in this timetable design and explain its negative impact on the teaching learning process. The flaw in this timetable design is a severe violation of the psychological principles of learning, specifically the concept of the fatigue curve. The post lunch period is well known as a time of physiological and mental slumps, often called the post lunch dip. Scheduling not just one but two of the most cognitively demanding subjects, mathematics and physics, during this period of lowest student alertness is a fundamental pedagogical error. The brain is simply not in an optimal state for the abstract reasoning and intense concentration required by these subjects at this time. The negative impact on the teaching learning process is direct and damaging for students. It leads to poor comprehension, low retention of concepts, and increased errors as evidenced by their test performance. They feel frustrated and develop an aversion to the subjects. For teachers, it results in a constant struggle to gain student attention, leading to classroom management issues and professional dissatisfaction. Valuable instructional time is wasted not in teaching but in trying to overcome the lethargy of a psychologically misplaced lesson, making the entire educational transaction inefficient and stressful for all involved. Situation 14. The general principles of timetable construction are the bedrock of a functional school schedule. Number A. Define the principle of departmental needs. Number B. Explain its importance in a school with specialized facilities. Number C. Provide an example of how this principle is applied for a science department. Understanding the core principles is key to effective timetable construction. Number E. The principle of departmental needs, also known as the principle of subject convenience, asserts that the timetable should be designed to accommodate the specific requirements of different academic departments. This means scheduling classes in a way that allows for the most effective use of specialized rooms, equipment, and teaching methodologies associated with particular subjects. It prioritizes the logistical and pedagogical needs of departments to ensure smooth and effective instruction. Number B. In a school with specialized facilities like science labs, computer rooms, workshops, or art studios art studios, this principle is critically important. These expensive resources are limited and must be shared among many classes. Without careful planning based on departmental needs, the school would face constant scheduling conflicts, and these facilities would be either overbooked or underutilized. Adhering to this principle ensures that practical subjects receive their necessary hands-on time, which is fundamental to the curriculum. Number C. For a science department, this principle is applied by creating a dedicated lab schedule. For example, if a chemistry teacher needs a double period for a lengthy experiment for class 11, the timetable must provide this contiguous block of time in the chemistry lab. It would also ensure that the physics and biology classes for other grades are scheduled in their respective labs or in theory classrooms at that time, preventing any clashes for the shared lab resources. Situation 41. Compare the primary factors that influence timetable design in a residential school (NVS) versus a day school (KVS), focusing on seasonality and type of school. The primary factors influencing timetable design differ significantly between NVS and KVS due to their fundamental nature. For a day school like KVS, the type of school factor primarily dictates a schedule confined to 6 to 7 hours a day, focusing on academics and co-curriculars within that time frame. For a residential school like NVS, this factor expands the timetable's scope to 24 hours, compelling it, compelling it to integrate academics with meals, supervised self-study, and residential life. The NBS schedule is a holistic life plan, whereas the KBS schedule is an academic day plan. Seasonality also has a different impact. In a KBS, adjustments for extreme summer or winter might involve changing school start and end times. Example criteria: morning school in summer. In an NBS, seasonality affects the entire 24-hour routine. For instance, in winter morning, PT might be scheduled later and evening prep study times might be adjusted to align with earlier sunsets and colder temperatures. The changes in an NVS are more complex as they must recalibrate the entire living and learning cycle, not just the academic hours, making the timetable adaptation more intricate. Situation 42. The fatigue curve is not just a theoretical concept but a daily reality in the classroom. Number A. Correlate the typical pre-lunch dip in student energy with a specific timetable scheduling strategies. Number B. How does the placement of a recess or lunch break in the timetable serve a psychological purpose? The fatigue curve has practical implications for daily scheduling. Number A. The pre-lunch dip in student energy typically occurring during the fourth or fifth period correlates directly with scheduling strategies that aim to mitigate its effects. An effective timetable would avoid placing a highly demanding hard subject in this slot. Instead, a wise scheduler would place a subject that is more interactive, skill based, or less cognitively dense, such as a second language, computer practicals, or a library period. This strategy acknowledges the student's reduced concentration and places a subject they can still engage with, effectively preventing the period from becoming unproductive. Number B. The placement of a recess or lunch break serves a critical psychological purpose beyond just nutrition. It acts as a major reset button in the school day. The break provides a necessary pause from academic work, allowing students' minds to rest and recharge. It also caters to their social and emotional needs by allowing free interaction with peers. This mental and social rejuvenation is essential for combating the accumulated fatigue of the morning session, enabling students to return to afternoon classes with renewed focus and a more positive attitude, thereby making the second half of the day more productive. Situation 43. Managing teacher absence. You are the principal of a school where a mathematics teacher for class 10 has to suddenly take a week's leave For a family emergency, the substitution timetable assigns random teachers to supervise the class. The students, with their board exams approaching, are becoming anxious and are wasting time during these periods. The supervising teachers, not being math experts, are unable to help them. As a decisive administrator, what immediate creative and academically productive strategy would you implement to manage this situation for the week, ensuring the students' learning is not hampered? In this critical situation, random supervision is academically useless. My immediate strategy would be to convert the crisis into an opportunity for structured self-learning and peer tutoring. I would first identify the top 5 to 6 academically strong students in mathematics within that class. I would meet them I would meet with them, designate them as peer tutors for the week, and empower them with a clear task. Their role would be to lead small groups of their classmates in solving pre-selected problem sets or past examination papers, which I would arrange to be prepared by the department head or another math teacher. The substitute teacher's role would shift from passive supervision to active facilitation, ensuring the groups are on task and maintaining a productive learning environment. I would also arrange for another senior math teacher to be available for 15 minutes during that period for expert doubt clearing. If the peer tutors get stuck, this approach keeps the students engaged with the curriculum, fosters leadership and collaborative skills, and ensures that the week is spent in meaningful revision rather than being wasted, thus alleviating student anxiety. Situation 44. A school is considering shifting from a 6-day week to a 5-day week. Number A. As a principal, how would you evaluate the potential impact on syllabus completion for subjects with fewer weekly periods? Number B. What strategies could be used to mitigate any negative impact? Shifting to a 5-day week requires careful impact evaluation and mitigation strategies. Number A. To evaluate the impact, I would conduct a quantitative analysis. I would calculate the total number of periods available for each subject in the existing 6-day week schedule versus the proposed 5-day week schedule over the entire academic year. Subjects that had only one or two periods a week, often including Saturday, such as art, music, or work experience, would be most affected. I would calculate the percentage loss of instructional time for these specific subjects to determine if the reduced time would make it impossible to complete the prescribed syllabus and activities. Number B. To mitigate the negative impact, I would employ a combination of strategies. Firstly, I could slightly increase the duration of all periods on the 5 working days to reclaim some of the lost time. Secondly, I could implement a rotational or fortnightly timetable where subjects with fewer periods are scheduled for a double period once every 2 weeks instead of a single period every week. Another strategy is to integrate aspects of these subjects, exemplarity art in a history project, into interdisciplinary project work, ensuring competencies are developed even with reduced direct instructional time. Situation 45. NEP 2020 and vocational exposure. A school is planning its 10 bagless days for class 7 as recommended by NEP 2020. The plan is to have students visit a local pottery workshop. The principal wants to ensure this is a meaningful learning experience, not just a day out. As the academic coordinator, devise a plan that integrates this activity into the curriculum. Number A. How would you connect the pottery visit to at least three different academic subjects? Number B. What pre-visit and post-visit tasks would you assign to make the learning concrete? Number C. How would you assess the learning outcomes from this bagless day? A bagless day can be a rich interdisciplinary learning experience with proper planning. Number A. The pottery visit can be connected to multiple subjects. Number 1. History or social studies. Students can research the history of pottery in the region, such as its connection to the Indus Valley civilization. Number 2. Science. They can learn about the chemical properties of different types of clay, the changes during firing, physical and chemical changes, and the physics of the potter's wheel, centripetal force. Number 3. Mathematics. Students can study the geometric shapes, cylinders, spheres, symmetry, and ratios involved in creating pots. Number B. For a pre-visit task, students would be given a worksheet with questions about the history and science of pottery to research. They would be asked to prepare questions for the artisans. For the artisan, the post-visit task would be to write a reflective report detailing the process, including diagrams. They could also be asked to create a small presentation or a model taught from modeling clay, applying the techniques they observed. This connects observation with hands-on application and written expression. Number C. Assessment would be portfolio based, not a formal test. I would assess the quality of their pre-visit research, the depth of their post-visit reflective report, and the creativity of their presentation or model. The focus would be on assessing competencies like observation skills, critical thinking, connecting the visit to academic subjects, and communication skills. A simple rubric could be used to grade their portfolio, providing feedback on their experiential experiential learning journey. Situation 46. What are the key timetable constraints that a principal must consider when planning the schedule for the fundamental stage aged 3 to 8 as per the NCF FS 2022 guidelines?